Waiver wire pitchers, part 1. Let's keep it moving. There's still, oh my gosh, so much to talk about. We already mentioned Christian Scott and John Means. They were the the headliners of the weekend. Garrett Crochet has been dropped in enough leagues where he could be available. He's 79% rostered now on CBS, and he had a strong start at the Cardinals. It was 6 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, only 8 swinging strikes on 88 pitches. His first quality start since April 2nd. And John Gray is on quite the roll right now. He was at the Royals this weekend where he threw 7 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts to 0 walks with 17 swinging strikes on 99 pitches. He is one of Scott's sleeper pitchers this week. That's John Gray. He's 78% rostered at Colorado. Scott, how would you rank this group of 4? Scott, Means, Crochet, and John Gray.
Oh, you said Scott at the start of that, and I thought you were like directly addressing me. But no, you're talking about Christian Scott because that's his last name. Okay.
I should probably say his full name.
It is a little confusing, but yeah. It's, Scott isn't an uncommon last name. I could have been Scott if I was born into a different family.
That would be a bad decision by that.
It would probably be a bad choice. Yeah. I did have a middle school teacher, Mrs. James, who said if she ever had a son, she would name him James. But apparently she didn't. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, I didn't want people to drop Garrett Crochet. I thought anybody brought that suggestion up to me, I shot it down. I'm not really sure where to place Scott next to Crochet. I think I'm going to say Crochet ahead of Scott still, but it's very close. And then Means third, and John Gray, a rather distant fourth, just because he's been around so long and has never put together a season that I would consider high end. But I do think he's useful. Obviously, he's among my sleeper pitchers for this week.
Waiver wire pitchers, part 2. Zach Littell pitched very well against the Mets. He actually opposed Christian Scott in that game. 6 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts with 18 swinging strikes on 87 pitches. He has allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in 6 of 7 starts. 74% rostered, home against the Yankees this week. That is Zach Littell. Reese Olson was solid. He was at the Yankees, 5 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. He is at the Guardians this week. Jameson Taillon has allowed 1 earned run or fewer in all 4 of his starts. He was home against the Brewers this weekend, 6 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. And he is at the Pirates this week. That's a really good matchup. And Gavin Stone has now turned in 2 strong starts in a row. He faced the Braves in this one. Offense has been a little bit cold recently, as Scott mentioned, but it was 6 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts with 14 swinging strikes for Gavin Stone in that start. And he has a great matchup as well. He is home against the Marlins this week. Chris, how would you rank these names? Gavin Stone, Taillon, Reese Olson, and Zach Littell.
I would go Littell, Stone, Olson, Taillon. Why is it that like every time a pitcher gets traded to the Rays, we like lose our minds and we're like, oh my God, Aaron Savale, the Rays are going to unlock him. And then like Zach Littell just comes out here and just pitches like quality over and over. And everyone's like, no, he stinks. I don't even want to look at him. He
wasn't even a starter till he got to the Rays. He was kind of a low strikeout reliever.
He's been really good.
They did the same thing with Jeffrey Springs and Rasmussen. They traded for relievers and made them starters.
I don't understand why there's such a lack of enthusiasm around Littell. Look, I don't think he's an ace.
Mm-hmm.
But one, he's pitched like one this season. 3.00 ERA, 2.92 xERA, 26% strikeout rate. Both the slider and splitter look like really good swing and miss pitches. I think Littell's just a good pitcher, and I lean more towards him being a must-start pitcher than I do him being a sell-high candidate at this point. So I think he's the clear number one. Gavin Stone, I don't know. I get the results have been better lately. Quality starts in 3 of his last 4. He has 12 strikeouts to 9 walks in his last 4 starts. I think he's got an awesome changeup, and I think that's it. So I don't know if he's ever going to put it together for more than a start or 2 at a time.
I think he will put it together this week against the Marlins, though.
So why do you take Stone over Olsen then?
What's that?
Because I would put Olsen ahead of Stone, but you have Stone ahead of Olsen.
Let me see. Because I did rank them. Okay, no, I have Olsen ahead, so I'll go Olsen ahead of Stone. Yeah,
I agree on Littell. By the way, this was kind of an eye opener start for me. Where he is a strikeout pitcher. He wasn't as a reliever, and he wasn't really when he got a chance to start for the Rays last year, but now he is. He's got a 13% swinging strike rate, which, I mean, if you're a starting pitcher and you have a 13% swinging strike rate, good things are going to happen. I think we can all agree Jameson Taillon doesn't really belong in the discussion with these other three.
And one more point in the favor of Zach Littell. He's a spark. So if you play in a points league, that obviously adds to his value. Waiver wire pitchers part 3. Javier Assad just continues to get it done. He was home against the Brewers this weekend, 6 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. He has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in all 7 of his starts, and he is also at the Pirates this upcoming week. Andrew Abbott pitched well against the Orioles. It was 5 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts with 13 swinging strikes. He's at the Giants this week. Dean Kramer turned in a quality start at the Reds, 6 shutout innings, only 1 hit, 1 walk. With 6 strikeouts there, he is home against the D-backs. And Paul Blackburn pitched very well against the Marlins, 7 innings, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. And he has allowed 1 earned run or fewer in 4 of his 7 starts. A 3 ERA, a 102 whip. The wins are going to be kind of hard to come by, but, Blackburn's pitched pretty well, and he's at the Mariners this week. Scott, any interest in these names? Blackburn, Kramer, Abbott, and Javier Assad.
I mean, this is like a who's who of sell high candidates to the degree that anybody is buying, which is probably not that much. You probably just picked up these guys off the waiver wire. They are globby bobbies. They are like, I think this is where the glob has moved down to in the pitcher rankings, because we've talked about how strong like the 30 to 60 or even 70 range is at starting pitcher. And then behind it, you have these guys who, I mean, Dean Kramer is like the poster child for this. He could give you a 7 1-run innings one day and then give up 7 runs in 3 innings the next. And it's kind of amazing he has an ERA below 4, given all the home runs he's already given up. I think that's going to be a problem for Dean Kramer in the long run. And Javier Assad, I wanted to talk about specifically because his ERA is 1.66 now. But he is a fly ball pitcher who doesn't give up especially weak contact, and he's only allowed 2 home runs so far. So I think Javier Assad's success is mostly good home run luck, and that is the way that he will regress.
All right, this next group of waiver wire pitchers, JP Sears pitched really well against the Marlins, 6 1/3 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. Chris Paddock has looked really good in 2 of his last 3 starts. He faced the Red Sox this weekend. He threw 6 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts there. Michael Lorenzen turned in a quality start at the Royals, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 strikeouts to 3 walks. And Jose Soriano had a strong start at the Guardians, 6 shutout innings with 3 strikeouts in that one. Chris, do you have any interest in these names? Soriano, Michael Lorenzen, Chris Paddock, and JP Sears.
This was a really, really interesting start from Chris Paddock, who threw his slider a career high 29 times and got 5 whiffs on 12 swings. That's a pretty good rate. That's a pretty good sign for a guy who has basically spent his entire professional career looking for some semblance of a useful breaking ball, and maybe he's found it. The changeup has always been really good. The fastball has come and go, but if the slider can be a viable pitch for Chris Paddock, I think it could potentially change his outlook. So I think he's the most interesting here for a lot of reasons, but specifically because of what he showed in this one. I think that's not run out and add Chris Paddock, but stay tuned. Let's see what happens.
And 5 names in deeper leagues. Griffin Canning changed up his pitch mix this weekend and pitched well against the Guardians. Carlos Carrasco's velocity was way up, and he turned in his first quality start. Hayden Wesneski returned to the Cubs and pitched very well, 6 1/3 shutout with 8 strikeouts. Cole Irvin has turned in 3 straight scoreless outings with 6 1/3 shutout with 4 strikeouts in that one. And Ben Lively has pitched very well for the Guardians. It was 6 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. He has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his 4 starts. Scott, anything here? Deep leagues: Ben Lively, Cole Irvin, Wisniewski, Carrasco, and Griffin Canning.
So the only one I was even giving a thought to picking up in some of those 15-teamers where they're among the best pitchers available on waiver wire was Cole Irvin, in the hopes of playing the matchups game, more so having to do with venue, though, than the opponent he's facing, because he's another extreme fly ball left-hander like John Means. Doesn't have as much upside as Means, but similar calculation there with Cole Irvin. Ultimately, I don't think I put in a bid for him anywhere, so I was preferring guys like Ryan Weathers to him. And then so that doesn't speak very well of Hayden Wesneski, Carlos Carrasco, and Griffin Canning. Though I will point out, Carrasco's velocity was way up in this start. I don't know if you already mentioned that, Frank, but it's not like it led to a bunch more strikeouts. So I'm not sure it means anything yet, but it's something to keep an eye on.